Good morning, Internet fans. It's Ryan Perry with Simple Biz Support. It is Thursday, therefore I have Virginie Dorn with Business Website Center down in Petaluma. Good morning, Virginie.
Well, good morning, Ryan. How are you?
I'm doing wonderful, thank you. You wanted to talk about pictures and how to acquire pictures, how to resize images so they display nicely on your website, and I think more importantly so that they upload quickly, because it is one of the things that Google's looking for, especially from a mobile point of view. We're trying to minimize our bandwidth as much as possible. And what else do we're going to talk a little bit about alt text, which hopefully most people are very familiar with, but I don't know if everybody uses it. So
Okay.
from a web design, let's talk about design first before we get into the SEO value. How important do you feel pictures are in conveying a message on a client's website?
Well, extremely important because people go to the web, they only see the visual. Very rarely will there be any sound, or there's no handshake, there's nothing physical beside what they see. So having a visually impactful images is very important. One thing to start with is the legal aspect and copyright infringement, making sure you are not stealing web images that don't belong to you. So of course we're not here to give any legal advice. We don't have that capacity or expertise. But it's very important whenever you find an image on the internet that you want to use, then you make sure then the copyright is free. Now, that's why personally I like to either buy the images or suggest that the clients buy the images. So you and I, not long ago, were talking about where to get images of quality, high resolution. My favorite is iStock.com or Shutterstock.com. And what I would typically recommend is, first and foremost, look for a coupon. So just search coupon for iStock.com. And most likely there's going to be a 25% off floating around with a promo code. Use that. And only sign up for a month. They have some great monthly package when you can just do for 1 month. And typically, like iStock, for instance, will do $199 if you don't have a coupon, and you can download up to 750 images in 30 days. So what you want to do is download all of them, even the craziest one that you can use for a later use, and build yourself a library of copyright-free images that you have purchased. So that protects you legally.
Okay, very good. And then from the actual design side, we were talking earlier about, depending on the type of business you are, that stock photography is great, especially corporate, national. I think we expect stock photography. It's very professional. You can tell they're actors, or not actors, but models, I guess, in that sense. Versus, say, a local business, a local attorney, a local auto body shop, where maybe instead of actually buying through iStock, you actually hire a photographer and get local pictures taken, simply because the message that those pictures will convey when people land on the website. You mentioned it earlier, what is it, 3 seconds? People make a decision within 3 seconds?
Yeah, if that, it's getting, our attention span gets smaller and smaller. You only have a moment to make a judgment call on the quality of the services based on what you see on the website. For instance, if you go to a Chinese food restaurant website, if the images don't look appetizing right away, you're just going to assume the quality of the food is not good. So it's very important to grab the visual interest of the customers first time. And yes, indeed, iStock photos is not for everybody. And maybe I can screen share one of the local manufacturers we have here.
Okay.
Try that. So are you seeing that screen? Yes?
Yes, I am. Sorry.
Or I could not hear you. So this is architectural plastic. They do custom plastic containers. They do things for Apple computers. So if you go to an Apple store at the mall, and they have little plastic display to put the iPads on. So this is the manufacturer for those type of items. For them, it was very important to use their own images to show the type of products they do. I mean, you would not want to show the competitors' images. So very highly visual. Everything you see on their website is their product. My internet is very slow here in Petaluma, but if you scroll down, you can see all those images are provided by them. It makes an impact. It showcases the quality of their product. Another reason it's important to use your own photos is when you want to relate to people on a more personal basis, especially if you have a big team of employees and you want your visitors to be able to connect to them and know what Susie looks like when they call Susie at the help desk. So this is a website we're about to release in a couple of days. You have a principal at the top, but you can see below it's all their team members. And they didn't even hire a professional photographer for that. Someone just brought a good quality camera, came to work and took a picture of everybody smiling at their workstations. When someone calls Andrea here, they get to see what Andrea looks like. So this is very powerful. People love that. And also
Right.
people in the action of doing something,
Right.
painting, the before and after.
Right, and I want to get back to the pictures that you're on right now with the people, in that you one of the big questions I get a lot of time is, can I just use my iPhone, or do I need to hire a photographer? And for me, it really boils down what the message is that you're trying to convey and who your audience is. So I think it's really important as business owners, if you're ever going through this, if you're doing it, building your own website on WordPress, or if you're thinking about outsourcing it and hiring somebody, is that you should always, always, always be thinking from the end user's point of view. In Sonoma County, when we get a new client in Sonoma County, for me, if they're a small local business, then having pictures they don't have to be top-notch professional photography. However, if it's an attorney in San Francisco, big city, completely different audience, completely different expectations when you land on the website, then it's like, yes, I would totally spend the money on a quality photographer that's going to Photoshop the pictures and make sure that they're very polished. So I like the pictures of the staff there that you had, that they used a nice camera, but it wasn't necessarily professional. And I think the important thing that people should understand is that when you do that with these staff members, is that it makes them look real.
Yes.
We're not paid models. We're real people, and I think the way you take pictures is part of that. How you display that across. I'm losing my words here, but I think you know what I mean.
Oh, absolutely. I agree with you. It's very important to sometimes not, like you said, like if you want to be more approachable and more mom and pop and local flavor, having it in the local settings, not so high end, that people relate to it. They believe it's more real that way. I'm not sure if you see my screen here, but this is something other clients have done. My computer's freezing up again. Oh, there's only two here. As you can see, they just took a photo outside, and if you know their stores, you know it has that green background. It's a huge retail shop, and it's surrounded by that green wood. As you can see, very close up, very cool, very trendy for their industry. And sometimes, so this is another example. This is actually a local organization. It's all about networking. Those are the powerhouses of our county. They were taken professionally during one of the meetings. And it's kind of nice to not only showcase the members here, so give them some importance, but also show visitors who might be interested in joining. It's like, hey, I want to be with the smiley people as well. They all look very professional. So again, having real people that are not iStuff people is very valuable.
Right. So because we got about 4 minutes left, let's talk about, once you actually do get your pictures, let's talk a little bit about SEO. What are some of the important things as far as, do I need a 300 DPI photo that's 3,600 pixels by 3,600 pixels if I'm only going to be this big on the web, and why do you want to optimize pictures before uploading them to your website?
All right, so there are 4 things people should consider when they are handling an image for their website. Number 1, having it sized the way you want it to show. So for instance, if you wanted to have a square image, 500 pixel by 500 pixel on your website, make sure you don't upload something that is 10,000 by 10,000 and have your code reduce it. And that's what sometimes you can see images coming very slowly. They have a hard time displaying. It's because you're forcing the browser to resize it for you. So it should be done to proper size. So you have to know what it should look like on your website. Resize it with Photoshop or any kind of editing software and upload it that way. The second thing are the tags. There are things called alt tag, and this stands for alternative tags. Alt tags used to be done back in the old dial-up days when you were connecting to the internet, everybody had slow speed, and what happened is before the image will show up, there will be a little text telling you what the image was going to be about. And once in a while, if people are on really bad internet connection, you will get the text instead of a big white box. Nowadays, the alt tag or alternative tag is being used for ADA compliancy. So what it means is people who are visually impaired have some special software installed in their computer, and if they have a hard time seeing what the image is about, they can, I think, they mouse over, and the alt tag will actually read itself to them, and it will say, this is Virginie and Ryan talking about something. So it's important to use them. It's also great for SEO because search engines do read those invisible alt tag all the time. So you want to make sure you put some good keyword or good keyword sentences there. A third item is the title tag. The title tag is also known as the mouse over tag. And it's not appropriate for every image, but as much as you can use them, use them. So if you mouse over an image, once in a while you'll see a little bit of text. And usually it explains what the image is about. And it was taken in February, or this is Ryan talking about SEO. So these are also good for SEO. Truth of the matter is visitors don't read those little text. It's mainly for the search engines. So we talked about the sizing, the alt tag, the title tag. Another thing is naming the images appropriately. You don't want to call all your images bullet 1, bullet 2, bullet 3, bullet 4, unless you sell guns and you're selling bullets. You want to call it, if you're in the shoe industry, shoe.jpg, shoes.jpg, red shoes, brown shoes, small shoes, high heels. That way it brings SEO value to the search engine bots when they call your website. So if you can do all of this, the sizing, the alt, the title, and the naming, that will bring you great advantages for your ranking.
All right, and I think one of the key things for resizing an image is also the fact that web speed is very, very important. It's probably been about 2 years ago that Google said, hey, there's too much information out there, plus mobile is becoming more of a dominant use for web, and therefore we want your web size data-wise to be as small as possible so we can index it, or not index it, but so we can download it as quickly as possible. And Google does give preference, especially on mobile devices, for websites that load faster. And so by having your images properly sized in the first place is going to help you, can help you from an SEO point of view.
Very true. Very true.
All right. Well, tell you what, Virginie, it is 10 a.m., so our time is up. As always, I appreciate your time, and thank you for your insights on pictures today.
Okay, well, thank you. Anytime. If you have any questions, feel free to call me directly at 707-794-9999.
Sounds good, and we will talk to you next week. We're going to be talking about responsive design next week. So if you're a business owner out there and you're considering responsive design, or you don't understand why somebody's telling you why responsive design is so important, that's going to be our broadcast for next week. Until then, Virginie, I hope you have a great week.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye.